Hello, welcome to another episode of the Blue Mountain Makes podcast. I'm Mary Lynn, and today is going to be slightly unhinged. I have tried to record this twice now. Yeah, I usually do this on Fridays. Today's Sunday. It's just been like one of those weeks where everything I've touched has absolutely fallen apart. So we're low effort, little makeup, crappy hair, covered in mohair. Living in my spooky shirt because it is officially spooky season. Yeah, got a couple things to share with you, but not a whole lot. I am back from vacation. I'll have some clips of vacation at the end of the podcast if it's something you're interested in. Stick around for the end. My husband took a lot of really good drone footage in Arizona while we were out there, and he's edited a handful of clips, so I'll put them at the end. He does a lot on Instagram, so I am lazy and I let him do the editing, and then I just kind of steal it at the end. And I'll have some pictures. But we had a great time. It was beautiful. And I don't know if this is like a small town thing or if everybody says this, but around here everybody says, oh, it's a small world. Let me tell you how small it is. Like, my dad will call me and be like, you want to know how small the world is this week? Turns out so-and-so's friend worked with blah, blah, and it was my high school teacher. You're like, okay, whatever. Well, let me tell you how small the world actually is. So, we were in Page, Arizona, like hundreds of miles away from home, sitting at breakfast, and this lady comes up to me and she says, are you on YouTube? And I was like, yeah. And it turns out she was visiting the West Coast from Norway, and she watches the podcast. So if you're watching, hello. It was so wild. Like, what are the chances that we were both so far, I mean, she was really far away from home, but we were both so far away from home, and then we would bump into each other in some random hotel in Page, Arizona, which is a random town, I feel like. It was cool. It was just neat. So my husband was like, you weren't wearing anything knitted. Like, no, I'm in the desert. Of course I'm not wearing anything knitted. But that was neat. So yeah, we had a good time. And good segue into finished objects. I can't find it. If you remember, before I left, I had just started the collar of a sweater. And my goal was to finish the sweater while we were on vacation because it was going to be a lot of driving. I think we put 1,500 miles on the rental car just while we were there. Everybody thinks we drove there. We did not drive there. It was get off the plane and we drove 1,500 miles and then we got back on a plane. So it was in the car a lot, and Sam always drives, so I got to knit and it was great. And I'm happy to say I finished my sweater. Yay. So this is the DRK Everyday sweater. I knit it out of palette yarn, which I ended up having leftover. So the story of this palette yarn in particular, it has been knit twice into an unfinished version of the Big Cozy Cardi or Big Comfy Cardi. I swear I can't get that name right. I don't know why. But anyways, I felt like the high contrast marl did not suit that pattern well because it's a high textured pattern. So somebody on a couple videos ago had mentioned this pattern and said they thought it would be a good fit, and I already owned it, and it was a good fit, and it looks gorgeous. I'm very happy about this. See, I think I didn't finish the yoke before I left. Basically, I had like the short rows done, I think. Anyways, I almost finished it completely on vacation. I had like that much left of the cuff to do, and it was dark on the plane ride home, so I couldn't see, and I really didn't want to mess up all this work. So I just waited and finished it the day after we got back. But technically this is my vacation. This I'm counting as my souvenir from the trip because, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. Every time I wear it, I'll think about beautiful painted desert and Monument Valley and everything else we saw. So, yes. This is, what do we say about this pattern? This is round yoke, top down. It calls for a sport weight yarn, and palette is fingering weight, so she recommends a size 5 needle. I went down to a size 4, and yeah, I did 4 for the ribbing and everything, which I know I'm not supposed to do, and I always do it anyways, but whatever, it's fine. I think it looks fine. Again, high contrast. You'd have to really be up close to notice any issues with that ribbing. I think it's fine. Oh, and I definitely added length to the body. I didn't measure anything. I did have a measuring tape with me. I think the only thing I measured was like the yoke depth to make sure that that was okay. And in typical Andrea Mowry fashion, the sleeves are tight. So if you're thinking about making this pattern and you're not a tight sleeve person, it's interesting because she says that she finds it's a knitter's, not problem, but you know, that when you're working in a short or small circumference, your gauge changes, but I don't find that my gauge changes when I'm working small circumference. I just think that she writes patterns with smaller armholes, generally speaking. So, and you know, granted, this pattern is meant to be 0 to 2 inches of positive ease, I think. So instead of, I usually knit a size 3 on her pattern, so because I had to change the yarn and I changed the needle size because I like the fabric better, I did go up to a 4 and it fits really good. So it's too hot to wear this today. We're having like I keep hearing on other podcasts, which I think is funny. Everybody's like, we're having a heat wave in October, but I don't know that I call it. I don't know. This time of year is always funny around here. So it's like warm, but it's not humid, so it's very pleasant. Like my husband and I spent all day outside yesterday ripping up bushes and cutting down trees, and I ended up getting covered in poison oak, so that's fun too, to add to the weirdness of this week. But yeah, so the weather is nice, but it is not sweater weather just yet, hence the t-shirt. But yeah, I finished that, and I also, so before I left, I finished this sock because I also wanted something like smaller. When I got bored with my in the round plain stockinette knitting, I wanted something else to do, which is still plain in the round stockinette, but I did finish this sock. I always have a sock that in my purse. I use Magic Loop method, size 2 needles. This particular yarn is from Yarnable. It was the October colorway from last year, and I love it, and I think it's very cute, and these are like my Halloween socks, and you know, I would like to have them finished in time for Halloween, so I was working on the toe of this before we left for vacation, so I finished this up the night before we left, packed the yarn and the needles, and cast that on while we were gone. It's in my purse, it's downstairs, but I am working on the foot. So I made it through all of this, I turned the heel, and I got to the actual foot. So it's like Needles at the Ready always calls it a hoe. It's a half finished object. So here's my hoe. I will have the other sock finished before Halloween, so probably by the next podcast. I don't ever prioritize socks because I'm just not like it, you know, I enjoy knitting them, especially since I started, like I switched from DPNs to Magic Loop. I really like knitting on the Magic Loop, but it's usually just, it stays in my purse, and if I'm waiting on a grocery pickup or if I'm in line at the pharmacy or whatever, that's when I pick it up, and I don't know. It's never something I reach for first. I'd rather be working on a sweater. So I think that this has been in the works. Gosh, I know I knit on it while I was watching Oppenheimer. That was what, July? So it's been months. Like, I just don't mess with these that much. But I will have it finished by Halloween because I want to wear them on Halloween. I already have an outfit planned. How sad is that? But yeah, so that's that. So I have a 1.5 finished objects. And these don't match at all. Go figure. Okay. So that's all for that. As far as works in progress go, I have 3. Yes, 3. Confidence. First one, you guys have seen it quite a few times. I am happy to say, I think today I will finish the body and I can move on to the sleeves. Whew. It's been a long time in the works too. I need to look this up, but I think I cast this one in the spring, and then I put it into hibernation all summer, because it's too hot to fuss with mohair. And, you know, here we are in fall, and it's mohair season, so I want to finish this sweater. So this is the Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry. It is an oversized, bottom-up mohair lace panel sweater. If you can hear anything weird, it's my shark vacuum, robot vacuum. I don't know what it's eating in the other room, but I can hear it. Anyway, so this is the front. Oof. It's definitely gonna be oversized, which is gonna be fine, I think. It's gonna be fine. I'm envisioning leggings with this anyways. I don't know. Anyways, it's gonna be oversized. It is very fuzzy. This is my first mohair project. This is the front, like I said. And so for the back, you have to get to, it's like, I don't know, 10 plus inches or something. And then you start doing back shoulder shaping, which I found the shoulder shaping was like a real pain in the butt for the front, because you're eating into that lace pattern, so you have to like really pay attention. And it's not my strong suit. But I'm almost there at the back. I think I have one more row, and then I start the shoulder shaping. And then I will join the shoulders and start the sleeves. And the sleeves are plain stockinette in the round. So ready to do that. I'm ready to have the sweater off my needles. Yeah. I knit the size 3. Probably could have gone down to a 2. I'm kind of worried about how it's going to block out with the lace. I think it's going to it might blow out, but also because it has so much lace on it, I am going to end up wearing like an undershirt with this. So it's probably for the best that it's a little bit oversized, because it's going to be a layering piece. And I also think it's going to be like, oh, hit the table. I think it's going to be way too warm for the climate here. Unless they're calling for a lot of snow this year. Last year we got absolutely none. It sucked. It was depressing. If it's going to be cold outside, it may as well be snowing. But I don't know. I keep my house pretty chilly in the winter, so maybe I'll wear it around the house. Which seems like a shame, though. I should wear it out. I don't know. We'll see. It's almost done. Hopefully, do I want to be ambitious and say this will be done by the next podcast? Probably not. But it'll be close. It's also very soft, and I pet it like an animal. Yeah, it's been fun. The lace pattern is coming out to be really pretty. And it's not nearly as like complicated as I thought it would be. It's apparently Japanese lace knitting, or Japanese. Yeah, I think it's Japanese. She got her inspiration from the Japanese Stitch Bible, so I'm thinking I might need a Japanese Stitch Bible, because it's really awesome. There's no cabling. I'm not a big cable fan. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Oh, I should tell you, like, you know, the specifics. It's a size 3. I'm using size US 6 needles for the body. I will be using 6s for the sleeves. I don't feel like I need to go up, especially with as oversized as this is. I can't imagine I need to go up in needle size to accommodate for Andrea Mowry's kind of tighter sleeve situation. It should be fine. But I guess I'll see as I go. And then yarn-wise, I'm using 1 strand of drops Nord and 1 strand of drops Kid Silk mohair. It's in my mouth. Ugh. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. So pleased with this, where we're at now. Okay, next, I started this after I got back from vacation, so I don't have a whole lot of progress on it, but I'm using drops Nord again, and it's really pretty navy blue. I really quite like this. This is one of those things, like, you buy dark yarns online and you never really know what to expect color-wise when they come in. Very pleased with this, but I am unsure how it's going to show up on camera because it is so dark. But I started my Traveler hoodie, again by Andrea Mowry. It's a lot of Andrea Mowry this week. Yeah, just at the beginning of a round. I don't think it's going to show up super well. I can't really tell. Oh, it does look okay. Okay. So yeah, not very much done on this. I've done the ribbing and I have started on the body. What's interesting is the stitch pattern is, it's knit so many rows, purl so many rows. And what's interesting about this is that the body pattern is a knit and purl, I guess, horizontal ribbing. Sure, yeah. And she tells you in the pattern that it's going to grow by a certain percentage. I think she says like once you're done with the body, like multiply it by like 1.8 or something like that. I don't know, because it stretches so much after it's blocked and been worn. So that's going to be interesting. What I also think is interesting, I didn't realize it when I bought the pattern, but I do remember when she first showed it, when she first released the pattern, I thought it was a seamed garment because it has side seams. I don't know if that'll show up, but they're fake. I don't know why she added them. And especially the way that she added them, they're like partially slipped. So I kind of feel like that's going to pucker the fabric. Maybe it's for the structural integrity of the fabric. I don't know. I'm sure she had a reason. But I do find that odd, and I also tend to forget to slip them. And then I have to go back and fix them, because it would look really stupid if you had all these stockinette stitches and then just a couple purl bumps. So I'm making the size 2 for this pattern because it is supposed to be super, super oversized. And while I want it to be oversized to a point, I don't think I wanted it as oversized as the pattern called for. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about this so far other than it's knitting. It's a lot of purling, which is kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of stitches like right off the bat because it's bottom up. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting once I get to the hood part. Will really be the only new and different thing with this pattern. I've never done a hood and haven't really read that far into the pattern yet to see how she constructs it, but it should be interesting. This is not a process knit. This is very much a product knit. I want to wear this sweater. I want to wear it to yoga because I go early in the mornings and it's starting to get chilly now, and I think it'd be really nice. And yeah, I just want it to be done, kind of. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but it's not doing anything for me either. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those. I just want to wear it. So I think it's going to take a while though. But like I said, it's a lot of purling. I'm not the fastest purler in the world. I am practicing my Norwegian purling because the way I like learned to knit and then subsequently learned to purl, I was taught English style, but instead of like throwing the yarn around the needle, which would be quick, I always, and it wasn't until like fairly recently that I realized it's really not a great idea. Like, I would knit, drop the needle, wrap it, and then pick it back up. And so I still purl that way. So I've tried some continental purling, which is like, the way that I do it is also strange. Instead of, I don't know, instead of like moving my left finger that has the yarn around it, instead of moving that, I dip my thumb to catch it around the pearls, which is fine too, but after a while my thumb starts to hurt. It's like a whole thing. I like Norwegian purling, I just need to practice, so good practice, I suppose. Thought I dropped a bunch of stitches. I didn't. Yeah, that's also on size 4 needles. I definitely forgot to say that. Okay, my last work in progress I am very excited about. It's been a lot of fun to knit. This is Stephen West's Vertices Unite. It's going to be really interesting when it's done. This is one of those projects where I think you need, 5 balls of yarn, or 5 colors, and I stashed dough for everything. And it's just been kind of like one thing after another with it, which is funny. And, you stack all your yarn together, and I usually like let it simmer for a few days and, look at it throughout the day, different lighting, stuff like that. And I really liked all the colors together as they sat, but as I'm putting it together, I'm starting to question, go back to sleep, Dee. I'm starting to really question, like, does that make sense? I think it does. I think it's fine. But it's funny how different it is in the actual project versus, during the prep phase. So this is where I am so far. I can't show you the point. So, pointy end here. I have the stitches on hold, so it's like, kind of affecting the shape, but there's section 1, section 2, and I'm working on section 3. So I think once I put the yellow in, it really tied these 2 sections together, but when I was just doing these 2, I was like, that does not look great. too much. So this is supposed to be, it's striped, it is striped, but it's 2 colors of Malabrigo sock, and they're so similar that at some points it just kind of looks like one giant variegated ball, and that's fine. I'm letting it go. I don't necessarily have to have high contrast. This was a high contrast section, so it's okay. But what's even funnier, so I have 2 Malabrigos. I have 1 hand spun that's the variegated in this section. This is some Noro I had left over that's like a cotton blend, so it's the only non-wool in the whole thing, which has also been interesting. But I started this section and I thought that I was using my hand spun and some leftover drops baby merino from a pattern I did last year. And then I got to the end of that and said, oh, I need my other ball. Where is it? And realized, oopsie doodles, not at all the drops merino, and it's a completely different color because duh. It's not the same. It's totally different and it's very noticeable, but because it's a scrappy project, I'm just gonna roll with it. So come to find out, this stripe color is actually Knitting for Olive cotton merino from a tank top I made earlier this year. The bright gray, the light gray, is actually Drops Baby Merino. Whoops. I really preferred the more muted color, but we gotta work with what we got. I don't have any more, and I'm not buying any more because this is supposed to be a stash buster project for me. And it's fine. Like, I mean, it's definitely noticeable. I pulled that out of the stash. I was like, I'm an idiot. I don't know how I messed that up. It's just funny. But it, like I said, it's a very scrappy, wild looking thing anyways. So you know what? I meant it that way. It's totally how I meant for that to come out. That's what I'm sticking with. So, yeah. Also, so, you know, you knit section 1 first, just, you know, pretty straightforward, simple. It's like a weird triangle, trapezoidal, I don't know shape names. And then you pick up along the edge for this, and then you increase up here to a point. You leave these all on hold, presumably for the border, I'm guessing. I haven't read that far ahead. This section I really struggled with like 2 separate times last night. I was tired. I shouldn't have done it when I was tired. But so you start where these 2 sections meet and you pick up stitches, and then as you knit along, you kind of knit together your last stitch and then like a selvage stitch. But somehow or another, both times when I started the triangle, whatever, started working in this little section here, I somehow managed to flip my work over and had the wrong side showing both times. And I don't know how I did it twice in a row. Finally ripped it out and got it all, you know, going well. But yeah, I had like, you could definitely tell the difference. There's like a big seam on the back. Yeah, I don't know. But this has been very, very fun so far. I have thoroughly enjoyed making it. It's just all garter, so it should be boring, but it's not, because you're either, you know, adding stripes for the section, increasing, decreasing, making these weird shapes. For the section, you know, you're adding your selvage stitches, and I have to, you know, knit up to this point, and then I'll decrease this section. And then I only have 2 more sections left. Like, it's been a lot of fun. This is the biggest section. So that took, you know, a little bit of time, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, it's really cool. So if you haven't made one of these and you've thought about it, definitely do it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's going to be really wild to wear. I think the final shape, I think is going to be really nice for like wrapping around, and it'll actually stay, I think. Versus some other shawl constructions. Like, I really like the looks of the right angle shawls, but they don't stay on my neck. Unless they're really, really long and I can like really wrap it around. But I enjoy knitting them, but I don't enjoy wearing them. So kind of a bummer on that. Yes, as with most of my projects, it's knit on size 4. I'm making the larger size because I like a schlinket. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully I'm going to use up, I won't use up all of this yarn, but we'll use up quite a bit. Definitely out of this. I'm going to use up almost all of it, I think. Yeah, I do like it. And that is it for my works in progress. The only other thing that I have to share, oh shoot. I wanted to share my swatch for my Cosmo cardigan. I did swatch. I'm going to have to change my needle size before I cast on tomorrow, but I'll cast on today. Maybe I'll cast on today. I did find some yarn for the big comfy Cardi, cozy Cardi, whatever Cardi, the big one from Andrea Mowry, that I've ripped out many, many times. So I have a bunch of dark gray kid silk. Gosh, kid silk mohair. I don't know what, mohair and merino. Anyway, I have a bunch of that, so I definitely wanted to use that, and then I wanted like a plain color for the cardigan itself because, you know, after the palette situation, I definitely didn't want to do anything that was marled. So I went into my stash and I found this cone. This was gifted to me last year by a very kind viewer, and I have held on to it because I knew I was going to find something for it. A lot of that yarn I'm still holding on to because it's all very special and it has to be the right thing. So I think that this is going to be the right thing. So this is a Lions brand virgin wool. It's very lightweight, so we'll see with the, I'll do a gauge swatch and see, but I've never used a cone. It's very dense, but it'll be kind of nice. Just set it on the floor and just whoop, whoop. And this will live next to my chair in the living room because I think this is going to be a long-term project because with that cardigan, the body is just one giant square. And then you have to seam it to make the shape and then add your shawl collar and your sleeves. So it's basically like knitting a blanket or a baby blanket maybe. So this is going to take a while and it'll be nice just to like plop it down and let it live there. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's the plan though. And I am going to run and get that swatch because it's cute. Also lit an incense stick right before I started this and I had the door shut. I didn't realize quite how smoky it was until I just walked out. Like really bad. That might be why my throat's a little irritated. Oopsie doodles. I do like incense though. But anyways, so Cosmo cardigan, I will be using my hand spun. This is a merino that I picked up in Maryland at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival this May. I have like a big ball of it, so I've spun about 200 grams so far and caked them up. So I'm ready to at least get started. And then I also have this rust color kid silk mohair. And I was, it's not as dark as I was hoping it would be, the mohair. This is such a vibrant orange pumpkin-y kind of color. I really like the color of this. And I do feel like this dumbs it down a little bit or like dilutes it. This is what my swatch looks like. So it's not bad by any means. Oh, focus, come on. But yeah, I have to go down a needle size. I was off by half a stitch per inch. So yeah, I'm going down to a size 5 needle. It is very fuzzy. I'm pretty proud of this spin. I think it's, for the most part, consistent. It's very soft. So yeah, that's the plan. And I think that's all I got. So, I hope you're having a wonderful start to your fall if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. I am so glad it's October. I'm very ready for Halloween. I've got my decorations out. Everything's bathed in gaudy orange light at nighttime in my living room, my bathroom, my hallway. I love Halloween. So, yeah. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you've done something nice for yourself and you're knitting something that you love. I will see you very soon. And if you're interested, stay tuned for a little bit of Arizona footage. But if not, I will see you guys next time. Bye.